Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about thermal drifts of red dot scopes. Okay. Now, for you guys that are not familiar, if you zero in your rifle, the red dot on your rifle at a given temperature, if the temperature then changes, to either extremely warmer or extremely colder, that's going to change the zero on your rifle. Now that also does happen to your bullets. Okay, so when you fire it around, if there's a temperature change or humidity change or pressure change, all these things will also affect your bullet, and that's one of the reasons why like Army snipers collect, they'll fire their a given ammunition under a lot of different temperature changes, and they'll see how that affects it, and they'll have a book that they can then reference. Okay. Now, if we're shooting red dot scopes, we now have an additional variable, because now it's not just the bullet that's changing with the temperatures, right? It's also the red dot scope itself that's changing with the temperatures. And I'll give you an example. About a week ago, I shot this rifle. This is a Radical AR-15 with an Adaball red dot. Okay. And I shot it, and it gave me a very nice 2-inch group. Okay, that's at 110 yards. It gave me a beautiful 2-inch group, one of the best groups I've ever gotten out of that rifle with that scope. But if you look at it, it's all the way to the right. Okay, the previous time that I shot this, the grouping was center. Okay, but the thing is, the previous time that I shot this, the temperature was about 20 degrees, and when I shot this grouping, the temperature was about 60. So 60, so that shift from 20 degrees to 60 degrees moved the red dot, to the right. Okay. Now, initially, I thought maybe that was the wind, because there was a little bit of wind that day. I looked at my ribbons, but even if there was a 20-mile-an-hour wind, which would have been the max. I mean, I think that was the max gusts I was having that day based on my wind ribbons. At a 20-mile-an-hour wind will only move the bullet 2 inches to the right. So I would have moved it from there to here. Okay, this moved more than double, so this moved it almost 4 inches to the right. So I started thinking that there had to be something else. I later pulled out this rifle. This is the Beretta CX Force rifle. It's got the same Adaball scope on it, and normally when I shoot that rifle, it will give me a grouping of, at 110 yards, a grouping of 6 to 8 inches. It does open up a bit because you're shooting a 9mm bullet. When I shot it at 110 yards, it actually completely shifted it off the paper, so I could see the bullets landing someplace over here to the right of the target. Okay, so I'm now starting to see some consistency with this. The Adaball red dots, they shift to the right. If you have a temperature change from 20, going up to 60 degrees, it'll shift it to the right, anywhere from 4 to 8 inches. Okay. What I did then is I took out this scope. I took out this rifle. This is a Colt 22, and it's got the Holosun scope on it. This is the one with the ACCS reticle. Okay, and the previous time I shot this gun, again, it was about 20 degrees, and I had this gun sighted in with that chevron, because that one has an arrow, right? It's like a chevron. The tip of the chevron goes at the bottom of my bullseye, and the last time I shot it, basically I had all my shots inside this bullseye. Okay, well, I actually just shot this today, and it's about 45 degrees right now, and the grouping moved from here up about almost 3 inches, maybe 4 inches. Okay, so nice tight group, nice tight 1-inch group. This is at 50 yards. Okay, so this is a little bit closer, and the grouping moved up. When I shot this at the 110 yards, it actually shifted up off the paper and landed somewhere up here. And that's the Holosun, the one with the ACCS reticle. And the reason why I think that's significant is because, some people might say, well, Adaball is garbage. Well, even the gun snobs will admit that, Holosun is not a bad value. It's not a bad red dot. Okay, and for that matter, EOTech recently had an issue with the thermal shift. I mean, basically now, it's acknowledged that all red dots have some thermal drift. EOTech told the government that theirs didn't have any, or it was really minimal, and it turned out to be a lot more than they said it was. And basically, they ended up getting sued, and they settled. I think they paid something like $25 million. So it's a big deal. Okay. The reason why I'm putting this information out there, I actually wish I had a lot more information to give to you guys. I was waiting for the temperature. I was hoping the temperature might come down a little bit, because what I wanted to do is, if the temperature went back down into the 20s, I would have shot these rifles again and see if the zero moved back to where it originally was. That would be very interesting. However, I looked at the forecast, and it doesn't look like the temperature is going to be going down into the 20s anytime soon. So basically, I decided that it would be more useful and more, for me to put out this information and have you guys think about it. And depending on where you live, perhaps the temperatures might, you might get more of a variation from day to day. And it would be great for you guys to post some comments about what your experiences are. If the last time you zeroed your rifle, it was in the 20s, and now it's in the 60s, try it out, and post below in your comments what how much of a shift you had, and with which red dot scope. And I kind of hope that I hope that there will be more videos that will be coming out over the next year on this subject, because I did do a search. I was trying to find as much information on this topic as I could. I mean, I find a lot of red dot reviews where people are basically talking about the red dot and talking about okay, here it is coming out of the box. They'll zero it in, maybe they'll shoot it 2 days in a row and they'll say, okay, yeah, it holds zero. Yeah, I mean, we kind of expect that. Or maybe they'll even do a drop test. But I think this is kind of the information that we need to start building up. We need to build a database where on all the different scopes out there, how much do they shift as the temperature changes from one extreme to the other. So I hope this video serves as a useful inspiration towards that end. Post some comments, like I said, and I'll talk to you guys next time.